Hey guys, welcome back to the Malibash Media Spotlight Show. Today I have with us obviously a full house, as you can see. Super excited to have the partial cast and crew of the feature film Steel Will here with us today. We're going to show you guys a little bit of a clip so we can talk more about it. You guys can understand a little bit more of the film. Basically, it's a steampunk boxer film, and it's going to be I think it's going to take our hearts back to Rocky a little bit, which is a really strong film for most people out there. We all have that really heartfelt image in our mind from that. So this is going to bounce a little bit off of that. It's super cool. You guys are going to absolutely love it. And we're going to introduce the cast here, guys. Thank you so much for being here today. Super excited to have you. I've got you guys on mute right now, but we're going to pop you guys up here soon to talk about a little bit of your roles in the film and what you've done and how you've been in the film industry for so long and different things like that. So I'm really excited, guys. Let's go ahead and jump in with showing you a little bit of the sizzle reel. Super cool, gonna get your attention. So here we go.
He was my best fighter. He is the best. Robert Steelhammer. I trained him right from the start. He's a model fighter. Rose from nothing up to such great heights. God, he got everything.
But that's a part of it. That's a part of me. Why can't you understand?
Rob, look out! There was a car accident last night in the Los Angeles Pacific Coast Highway. 2 people were transported to the hospital.
I managed to save you. It's okay. It's all gonna be okay. Harley?
No.
Boxing's like everything to him.
Just want all best for us. For him.
It's connected directly to my nervous system. So they say. It's still not a part of me.
It's a possible exhibition fight. Some new up-and-comer who wants to try your new hand in action.
Listen. Your life is not only about boxing.
Champion's return, and the first fight ever against a man with a prosthetic.
Maybe it's time for you to think about quitting boxing altogether and do something else.
Don't throw out your wife and family for just another victory.
You've changed. At least before you were listening to me, and now you're just scaring me.
Stay back. Ray. 4. 5.
I can't move it. It's stuck. It won't move.
You have been a part of every one of his victories.
I need you.
Just like in a fight, sometimes victory comes at a cost.
I need to do it. I need to prove what I am worth. I still am what I am, Robert Steelhammer.
Absolutely a really cool film. I love this as a reel every time I watch it, and really excited about this coming out, guys. Eugene, you've assembled an amazing crew and cast for this. You've done a lot of homework and research and everything as well, and you can tell, and then you've done a lot of the writing of this. So I'm really excited to hear how it got started. What was the inspiration behind it? Because you're the one who wrote it and you're directing it, and like I said, you've done a lot of the homework. You got the great cast going on. So we're going to turn it over to you, and you start us out with explaining this film.
Okay, Ashley, thank you for having us here, and thank you for all your work, because we prepared this interview for 2 months, I believe, since end of the June.
Yeah, about that.
And
Yep.
I'm seeing all this, like how you organize everything and how it all looks. It's terrific. I'm feeling like I'm some late night TV show, like top rank. Thank
Oh,
you for that.
yay.
I actually wanted to make a small note. You said it's steampunk boxing drama. It's actually cyberpunk boxing drama. It's a bit different genres.
Big difference. My apologies.
So, to your question, what inspired it? Uh, it's it's a long story because I'm working on this project for several years. But I can tell it started from I was hired to direct a series of training videos for Olympic boxing champion, and preparing for all that, I started doing my research and work, and I noticed a thing about boxing films that almost all of them was shot in the same way and same structure. Beginning from Rocky, which was what, 1970 somethings,
Hmm.
40 years, same camera placements, almost like on TV outside of boxing ring, same structure, like it's gonna be 2, 3 fights and that's all. And I wanted to do something different. That was one part. And other is what I also noticed is a good boxing drama is actually not about boxing, it's about personal relationship. And that's what this film about. It's about inner fight with your inner demons, about how a person who's a professional athlete in our story, Robert Hammer, who played by Sean Ferguson, how he actually depends on his close ones in this film is his wife and his trainer, performed by Oksana Platera, his wife, and Mark Heron as trainer. How like people who not like in the spotlight, but how they're necessary for his success, and how it's necessary to have that connection together with them, like that established relationship. And actually, what you showed, it's a trailer for a short movie, which my team done as a proof of concept. We run our festival circuit. We still keep going. We gathered our share of awards. Couple, what was that? Best sci-fi. I think we have best acting. We have, I think, honorary mention for soundtrack for Chris. He done outstanding work there. We keep going. But main goal where with this is it's going to be a feature, a longer story. Because for short film, like for dynamics, you need to focus on one character and selected amount of scenes and action. I have a feature script where it's all started, so which I want to bring on screen, and actually a bit early, but to my team they don't really know. I'm right now in talk for pre-sales with several distribution companies, and we're looking for producers and any additional investors to bring this very unique project to screen. Because other thing I wanted to mention, there is no movie like this at all still. It's the first one live action cyberpunk boxing drama. Nobody's still done anything like that. And
That's
before I
true. This
go
is
too far away, maybe you want to add some more questions.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I believe, you hit it right on the nail with that. Because this is not something you see every single day. It's very different. It's very new age, and it's really an inner. It shows a little bit more of the inner fight with a whole relationship that goes around the athlete, and not just about like the individual athlete. It shows the home life. It shows what the training is and all this stuff in a newer environment, and how he's also has to not just overcome the typical fighting issues, but he has a whole new life change during this situation that he has to overcome as well, which is completely different. And I absolutely love this, Eugene. I think this is such a cool new fresh environment that you have created here, and I'm really excited that this is going to be coming out soon. And if you guys want to get involved in this film, we have popped up here. Get in contact with Eugene. He's a really great person to work with. He's got a lot of great awards that are behind his name, along with very organized, and he takes care of his team from what I have seen. So let's go ahead and go into a little bit of the cast here. I'm really excited to talk to. We're going to talk to Sean. You're going to be the next one up, Sean, as you are the lead actor here in this film. You're playing the role of Robert. He is the cyberpunk, fighter that has to overcome a huge hurdle in his life, and then faces, do I just keep going and lose relationship with his family and things like that? And it just kind of it's a really cool story. So tell us a little bit, Sean, about you, how you got into the acting field, because you've been in other films as well, and then tell us a little bit about your part in Steel Wheel.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for putting this together. This is really cool. And, you touched on some things there, like with Rocky, that hits me straight to the core, because that's like my life's mantra. If anybody knows me, they know how big Rocky is in my life. So, needless to say, when I saw the breakdown and submitted myself, I didn't even have to read the whole thing through. I was like, that's my part. I'm going for that. I want that, based on several things. One, just the sense of boxing and getting to showcase that and the athletic part, but also the backstory to this character that Eugene touched on a little bit in the breakdown, the initial breakdown when I went to audition for this role. I got into acting around 2014. I have a background in fitness. I've been a personal trainer, and my business has evolved since then, since the pandemic. And boxing is something that's been a big part of my fitness. And I got involved with that in a very serious way with a colleague who's a trainer. And so we went under extensive training for years. There was a point where I started to think about going into it professionally, and just kind of a lot of life stuff was happening, but a good foundation and background with boxing. And this character resonated with me in so many ways, just in terms of, working through struggle growing up, feeling what I extrapolated was just a survivor sense, an upbringing, and having to really like figure out who he can trust, and how he can survive and how he can make it to the top, and proving himself in one way or another, because he had nothing growing up. So this dilemma with his, thoughts and feelings towards where in this script the boxing industry was trying to go, which was futuristic, something that was really against his own morals and values. So there's a lot of conflict there. And then to be thrust into a situation where all of a sudden he wakes up in the hospital with a prosthetic arm, that's cyborg, he doesn't have a choice. And this obviously affects him deeply, because now he's literally and figuratively got this alien part to him. And he's got to figure out how to live with this, something he's despised for years. And so he's going back to his roots mentally and emotionally of trying to survive. And what does that mean now that he's got a family? Now he's got to look after other people besides himself. So I think that's the beauty of the script and the writing is, there's all this juxtaposition, there's this contrast, inside, outside, human versus android, that kind of thing. And it all comes together in a way that I think really pulls the audience in, again, with like the Rocky theme, that sense of, overcoming great odds. And it was just a thrill to work with, the other cast, Mark and Oksana. They really gave me an opportunity to lean into what I wanted to do with the role. And I was getting chills watching the trailer. That was, brought me right back to being in the ring. And last thing I'll say is the first day on set, when I saw the ring set up and the lighting and everything, I was so dialed in and so excited. I couldn't stop moving in between takes. I was just kid in a candy store. So it was a blast to play this role, for sure.
That's really cool. And you just said that you actually wanted to get into boxing. You actually do boxing. So this is just perfect for you, right? I mean, you've already got that, not only the fitness side of it, but you got the mental aspect down, and you like the preparation that you have to do before a fight and things like that. Like, you already have that. So this is like perfect for you. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. And there was definitely some physical preparation, having to cut weight, because I really wanted to embody what a middleweight looked like. I was a little bit heftier than that. So I had to trim down. I treated this like any other role, as serious as possible. I got into character, and my training went through the roof, and it was all in preparation to make sure I brought forward what I think Eugene was envisioning for this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing, like, talking to you and then seeing the whole trailer of it, I mean, you really did. You jumped into this role and just like took it on. Both you and Oksana, I mean, you guys are great together. You guys play really well. How is working with her? She's just absolutely stunning and amazing. You guys are great,
Yeah.
very dynamic. You know,
Yeah.
she's a great lead.
Nothing but amazing things to say about Oksana. She is so dedicated and passionate about her craft. You know, when we were going through the auditioning process, I knew right away, right when I saw her, I was like, this is, you know, there's just something, I feel kind of that sense of like, this would be a really great connection on screen. And she had moments where I felt the true emotion in her pain. And that brought a whole nother level out of me. And I think with acting, it's not about what you show, it's about, you know, the interconnection that you have organically with that other person, your scene partner. And she really knows how to ground herself, and she's incredible. Yeah, a lot of fun to work with.
That's amazing. Yeah, you have to have that chemistry in order for things to go well. And then you also got to work with Mark. You know, this is a really cool. I mean, he does a great job as a trainer. I kind of he reminds me of some, you know, past really fantastic actors that have done the whole training thing. It's like he's in that. And I can't wait to hear a story about, you know, you guys working together and everything as well. So how is working, you know, with Mark on the whole, you know, having him as your trainer?
Yeah, he was all right. No, Mark is amazing. My favorite, there's so many moments that we had, and he literally was a coach to me in between takes. We would be in the ring, and he'd come over. You all right? You know, what do you need? You know, just getting our physicality set up for being in the corner and having that scene. The moment when we were in the backyard, and you know, he was physical with me as if like a father would be, that's really concerned. And that was really fun to explore, and great for me as an actor to have this character in Mark where he was like a father figure, was extremely close, but he's also my coach. So I had to kind of like think about those differences in moments, but also let him, you know, give me those things that helped me understand the dynamics in the moment, and remember, you know, what it was all about in terms of our backstory. And there's little like nicknames that we had for each other, things like that. So just seamless chemistry and connection with Mark. He's just so easy to work with, and just a natural. As soon as, you know, action calls, he's right there, and he's given it to me, and that really was fun to experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, you need a good group. It sounds like just such a fun group, and you can see it on camera. You guys have a good connection, all of you together, and that's really important. There's nothing worse than seeing a film and the actors look like they never met each other, and probably haven't from, you know, or just like getting into it or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely great to see the connection that you guys have. So that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Sean, so much for explaining your role. We are going to jump in and have Oksana explain. Now, she unfortunately was not able to be here, guys, today. She had some stuff going on with her family in Ukraine, so our hearts go out to her. But we do have her recorded answers to some of her questions that we had, and she is here in spirit. So we did get to have her today, so I'm really excited about showing you her little answers to some of our questions that we had today. So here she is.
2 years and I've been a professional ballroom dancer my whole life. I started dancing when I was 6 years old, and I've traveled the world doing dance competitions. And actually dancing is what brought me to America and opened up many doors for me. So I'm very grateful to my mother, who decided to take me to a dance class when I was so young. Once I finished with my competitive career, I started doing many theater and TV shows. Couple of the most popular ones that I've done would be the Dancing with the Stars and So You Think You Can Dance. I just love performing, and I love art in any shape and form. And I feel so blessed and grateful to have an amazing friend and mentor in my life. Her name is Leah Remini. I remember a couple years ago, my husband Jonathan, Leah, and I, we were working on a dance project that required some acting skills. So Leah was my first acting coach. And I remember I fell in love with that whole experience, with being in the moment and going through all the emotions and just letting go. Is the best therapy. Yeah, so after that, I didn't want it to end. I wanted more. And of course, then 2 years ago, COVID has started. And now I had all the time I needed to dedicate all of it to acting. And Leah encouraged me to join acting school, which I was really scared and intimidated by that whole idea. I felt like such a beginner, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to being professional and pretty good at what I do, and but I did it, and it was a great experience. I joined Beverly Hills Playhouse. It's a great school, and I feel like I've learned a lot. And I'm happy to report that now, just about a week ago, I finished filming my very first guest star in the very big TV show. I can't say what it is yet, but in September I can say what it is. With every role that I do, I love trying to find a piece of myself in every character and figure out the psychology and why they do what they do, to discover the truth, the ugly and the beautiful, and being able to ask the hard questions that sometimes it's easier as a character rather than yourself. Yeah, it's just the best therapy session. I feel like I can understand myself better, and the way you look at the world and other people around you. The thing I love most about Penelope is that she is very relatable character. I feel like every married woman can relate to going through some marriage problems. It's very real and it happens to everybody. I personally relate because I grew up without a father, so playing Penelope really made me think about how it felt for my mother raising a child without a husband. And yeah, it's similar sort of to what Penelope had to go through. The most memorable scene from Still Will would be the car scene, because Still Will is the very first short film I've ever booked, and the car scene was the very first scene that we shot. And I remember on my way to that car, I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is it. This is my very first role, my very first scene, and it's happening now. I was so nervous, but I will never forget that moment. It is forever very special.
Such an amazing actress. I'm just blown away. She's done a lot with Dancing with the Stars as well, guys. You can look her up. She's, just very stunning and quite. She knows how to dive into a character, and like Sean was saying, they had a really great connection. You can see that in the sizzle reel, and as it comes out, you guys will see that in the film as well. And so I'm just really thankful that she took the time to reply to those answers, so that we had a little piece of her today. So, Azana, thank you so much for doing that, and our hearts go out to you with everything going on with your family. So, guys, we're gonna jump into our the next supporting person in this whole cast. We've got Mark, and you get to come on up here to the stands and be the speaker right now. Mark, it's great to have you here. You're the supporting actor with Robert in this case, where you are the trainer. You're the hard ass that has to keep him going, or not, whatever. And you also have to be his dad, like he was saying. You got to be that person on both sides, where you know your boy, right? And you know exactly what is going through his brain and what he's thinking and how to prep him and how to get ready for the pitfalls that he may be experiencing. So talk to us about this. Like, explain to us your part, how you got started. You're a voiceover actor. You've been doing acting for a long time. You actually used to live in North Carolina. I mean, I've been kind of following you a little bit. So you have a long career in this. But yeah, go ahead and take the floor and tell us about yourself.
I appreciate it. And, thanks for having us. It's great to be here, and it's pretty amazing, opportunity. So thank you. Yeah, California native, actually, Northern California, and, relocated here to Florida. So, never know what the weather's going to do. But started a few years ago, voice acting, and then just, also doing the on-camera stuff, and they complement each other, right? So, they're voiceover, they don't see you, and on camera they do. So the craft is just kind of, training, study, back and forth, and it's been really great. And working with Eugene and Sean and Oksana and Chris, it's been an amazing journey. This is great. I mean, working with and it was so organic. We really had, Eugene was very, he set the stage with the writing, and he allowed us for some flexibility. And Sean alluded to it very well. There were just moments there where physical, if it came out, it came out, because that's what you would do in real life. And I think Eugene was patient to allow us to have that flexibility. And I think it shows. I mean, Sean and Oksana are amazing together on screen, and it's just impressive. And Eugene's ideas and so forth. So, getting to play the father figure, you can imagine in a feature film where we'd be able to go, right, with something much longer. And, there's really some touching moments, and it was just an incredible journey. So, trying to think. So, with Sean, my, a son, sometimes, like a son, I had to, I wanted to be empathetic, but those goals, right? It's tough. It's torture. Here he's got the drive, he's got the ambition, he's got the skill. He's a physical specimen. How much time does he have left? And then it's at the cusp of his relationship that's also feeling the a result of his drive. And so together, it's just really quite the conflict. So, it would be, like I said, a feature on this would be an amazing, right? We'd be able to explore a lot more, and I really look forward to that opportunity. So, it wasn't. I was going to say, when we were working on scenes, we didn't kill them. We allowed for something to happen. It wasn't like you just run over and over and over again. You just wanted it to be organic, and and sometimes takes, you're like, oh, that was a great take. Yeah, but the blower in the backyard of the neighbors kind of blew that one. So, there's always the fun of, and the challenges of filming, right? It's amazing. I had the opportunity to get to bring in some equipment and help get, like, you see the boxing gloves. If you saw the trailer, Sean was using the blue ones for practice and the black ones for, live fighting, and, signed poster and stopwatch and everything. And, but all the things that have to come together just to get those moments on screen, it just opens your eyes as to all the effort and the crew and just everything that it takes. So, like, overall, it's just been an absolute pleasure to be involved in something like this.
That's amazing. And what it sounds like, you train people on a regular basis, right, off camera, correct? Is that correct?
No, not that much.
Okay.
I do a lot of training myself,
Got it.
Fortunately,
Okay.
for the role, I was in a perfect spot because I could hold some extra pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little overweight, perfect for a trainer.
Exactly. Yep. I love that. That's great. But you have the whole, kind of, if you work out, you've got that whole mindset where what needs to continue on, and what needs to, what is it that you have to get ready and prep for and hyped up for to go on to the next, the next issues and all that stuff. And I know Sean is a fitness trainer and all that stuff, but I wasn't sure from your background and what I've read about you if you also did it as well. So that's why I wanted to ask you. But you've worked out, you know the drill a little bit of how to push
Yeah.
people to the end of their lives.
Right. Yeah. In the recent time, it's been, surfing for years, jiu-jitsu. Before that, it was a lot of football and weight training. And then, injuries and age get to us. But, working out and, seeing Sean was, he's in peak physical condition, so that was just, phenomenal. He looks great out there. So, it's fun. It was really fun. He's hitting the bags and all his fight scenes, and there's adrenaline. Like you said, when you watch the trailer, it's like, oh yeah, go Sean, go Robert.
How did it feel when he wanted to kill you? I think there was one of the scenes where he tries to choke you.
He looked at me. Yeah, it was just like, oh boy. Or when he was crushing that bottle, it was like, yeah. But I'm his dad, I have to stay firm. Can't show fear.
I love it. That's awesome. Absolutely. What was one of your favorite moments or scenes that you had so far that you guys have taken?
With Sean, it was definitely the backyard. We had some really amazing moments. That was, it was a good, kind of a little back and forth, a little bit of monologue, from him. And that had moments, we multiple takes on that, and just the things that were coming out organically. And with Oksana, when she was coming in there to the training, and she totally surprised me, right? So that was kind of the fun thing, is like, I actually jumped and I'm like, oh, so, and just her emotions, right? And she was, truly, even on the phone, she was truly in tears or so forth. So, those special moments where you go, yeah, that's it. That was just as real as it gets. And those moments were just, those are the two I can think of offhand.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. You guys have some great moments in there, and you can see it in your reel and also in the little demo there. It's really a very powerful film, and I absolutely love it. I'm super excited. I can't wait until it comes out. You guys have got a really great chemistry going on, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're going to jump over to Chris, and he is the score of the film, musician, has some amazing talents here as far as getting the filming connected with the correct music, which is a whole different vibe. It's a whole different world. It's, you've also had a lot of really different experiences in the music industry as well, Mark. So we're really thankful that you're here with us today. We get a complete different side of the filming industry with you, because music is different, right? It's going to be a whole different world mindset. You've also created the Spotify now has the whole album of Steel Wheel. Is that correct?
Yes, it's out for a while. Oh, there you see it. And actually that scene that that Oksana mentioned, the car, the track is called Car Discussion, and it's actually the most played track at the moment on my Spotify, which is funny.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's
Thank
fantastic.
You.
Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited to hear the music side of it, because I think a lot of people, you focus on the directing, acting, which are super important. Every part is important in a film, right? But the music and the scoring, like, what does that even mean? How do you get your inspiration to connect certain parts with, a crescendo or something like that? Like, what inspires you? Like, what do you look at first, and how does that work? But first off, I want to know a little bit about you, Chris. So tell us a little bit about you and your experience.
Okay, so thank you for having me here as well. So I'm kind of come from the songwriting side, but I always was interested in instrumentals. I grew up, growing up in the 80s, I listened to everything from Queen to Pet Shop Boys to Nine Inch Nails a little later, and a lot of instrumental stuff like Tangerine Dream and Vangelis, who was kind of an inspiration for this, because Eugene at first told me he wanted a little like the cyberpunk thing, like Vangelis did for Blade Runner, like synths there, but still kind of keeping it orchestral a little bit and melodic. So I tried to emulate that a little bit. One of my musical heroes.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Germany. I'm only here in California for 10 years now. And we moved in 2012. And there I finally got to have a little more time and resources to do more music. Music was always the side job. And now it's more kind of the full-time job. And so I love when it has these different aspects to the music, and Steel Will is one of those movies. It has the very emotional scenes, like in the car, that then builds to that car crash, and then when she's on the phone talking to Mark there and telling him about the state of Robert Steele, and that he's with his arm now. That's also very emotional, but it shouldn't overwhelm the scene. So that's one of the things with music, film music especially. It can't be the main thing in a scene. It has to support it.
That's definitely correct. And I know you have to go off of what the directors are looking for in a film. But what do you look for when you look at a film for the first time? What are you looking for to get that inspiration for? Okay, this is what the vibe that they want, but then this is what I feel like the interpretation of it needs to be.
I think it depends. It's a bit different with every movie or every episode of a series, but I mostly try to connect the characters or certain scenes or emotions with instruments or sounds, and then maybe with like chords, like I play some chords, maybe just on the piano or with strings or a synth pad, and then try to bring that into the music and do with the music what's happening on screen, or maybe not. Sometimes you have to bring in something that's just happening in the minds of the actors, or that you have to convey through the music. But it usually comes from that, and through a little direction from the director, because directors often have an idea what they want for music, or if they have some temp music in there that they like or think is good for the scenes, be it more electronic or more orchestral or whatever the style is. And so you get an inspiration from that as well, obviously, and you know where to go, and then can still make your own mark on it.
That's absolutely amazing. And I love the sound side and the music side, because there's so much of creative juices going on for, all of filming, correct? But, for this part, you have to really tailor it towards, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to underdo it. You don't want to, it's too much here, too little there. You have to listen really carefully. It's just a very time consuming process, and it's a different type of ear that you need for that situation. So it's absolutely amazing, Chris. You have quite a great history too of your music and things that you've done and projects that you worked on and everything. I'm really thankful that you were able to be here. What's one of the scenes that you have enjoyed working on the most, with what maybe it inspired you the most to create music with Steel Will?
I think one of the scenes that was challenging and really fun was when the mechanical arm doesn't really work and is stuck, because there are obviously some sound effects as well and some Foley, but I thought of bringing in that electronic aspect, that cyber aspect into the music, and I think that comes out there a lot with all the like some different sounds and like computer sounds or whatever I use there. And weird noises that are still in rhythm with the music and kind of the musical elements there, and they overtake the whole more organic vibe of the other music a little bit. So that definitely was a fun thing. Especially I love doing that. I love bringing in weird stuff into songs or scores.
What's one of the weirdest things that you've used to make a noise?
Oh, For another short, I in a cooking school scene, I just used pots and like some ladles and stuff, and made the percussion out of that. Like I just was standing on the microphone you see back there and just banging on these, and then cutting it so it becomes rhythmic. So that probably was the weirdest.
Wow, that's amazing. And stuff like that takes so long to not only create the sound but then remaster it so that, it fits the scene and everything. So that's pretty impressive. Not something I'm very talented at doing, but thankful for those people that can. Absolutely.
Yeah. For
Are
me,
there
it's
any
fun.
things that you'd like to share with any things that you've been introduced in the industry that you like to share to people that are wanting to get into, sound design or anything like that, or scoring? Things that you've run into?
You mean problems I run into?
Either
Or
one. Either one,
okay.
problems or good things, whatever. Maybe things
Sometimes
you didn't expect.
you learn from the problems. So definitely, I learned a lot over the last 5 years or so. Um, I think if you want to get into that industry, it's good to just go to events. There are always, like, especially when you're in LA, there are always screenings happening or networking events. Now again, after the pandemic is kind of over, it's a little more again. Emmy events will come up, um, and so that always helps because especially if it's screenings where the composers are there or the sound designers as well or music supervisors, you can always learn a lot, and it's just some inspiration. Like you hear how they did their score, what they did to write the music, or what sounds they used, how they processed sounds maybe to make it otherworldly if it's some science fiction or so. And so it's always a good inspiration to hear others in your profession talk about it. And then sometimes it also helps you to kind of verify what you do yourself. Like you're sitting alone in here in the studio, and I often had the problem that I didn't know, am I doing things right or not? Or so when you hear composers who are definitely more up the ladder of success, then and they do it the same, or run sometimes with plugins into the same problems and all that, then it's a little verification, and you're not as scared anymore.
It's always nice to know somebody that's blazed the trail already, and has been there, done that, and can tell you and walk you through some things. Because it's nice to know that, hey, I'm not the only one, or maybe this is a really great thing to watch out for. So I appreciate you sharing that, Chris. Thank you so much for that. And it's great having you guys all here because you all have such a cool and different perspective on everything. And I'm gonna pop you guys all back up here. But yeah, it's just been an amazing opportunity to have you guys on here. You could share about the different parts of the whole filming industry and also the parts of Steel Will that you guys have been involved in. And, what does that look like? And um, eh, what was the mindset behind creating all those things? So I'm gonna go ahead and open up to the floor, and you guys can share a little bit more about maybe some fun moments that you guys all had while creating this film. Some Mark's already laughing. I can tell there's some stories to come. So just like a couple fun, and I'm gonna pop up here, guys. If you want to help out with getting this film launched, even better than what we've got going on, get involved. You need to contact Eugene. I'm going to pop it back up here on the screen for you guys. You can email Eugene. For those who are listening, you can call him at 646-703-1991 and just get involved. See what you can do to get involved and help this film to go forward even more, because I can't wait for this to come out. It's just been really exciting. It's already won awards. You guys are doing an amazing job on this. So I'm going to open the floor up to some fun moments. Who wants to go first?
The prosthetic arm. I think if I just throw that out there, I think Eugene will know exactly what I'm talking about. The journey, literally and figuratively, but yeah, it all ended up working out in the end. But yeah, just that was brand new, and that was fun for, like understanding what it takes to get a prosthetic, and the behind the scenes of that. And it was a really cool construct. and getting to wear that. But yeah, that had so much of like a tangible aspect of the film, and then the kind of wove its way in naturally to the theme as well, in terms of like human versus this future and the struggle there. So
Right. And don't mess up the arm. We only have one. Oh, we had two.
We actually had two.
There you go.
You work with me, guys. You know, I always come in with backup plan. We had two, just in case.
I think one of the funny things was we needed, I think, for the rounds for the we're talking about equipment, the arm, for the boxing ring. The crew needed a ladder, and they were hunting all over LA for a ladder, and specifically the gorilla ladder. And so go ahead.
Yeah, let me talk. The thing was boxing ring, the one we found for boxing scenes. It was pretty high, and we needed second camera outside of the ring to be higher than our actors. And we wasn't able to find proper equipment that will do it, or the ones that we will bring inside because we don't have the big doors there. So our director of photography, Nick Kovalenko, he come up with the idea, just use a ladder, and you put camera on top. But we need a specific ladder, not too tall, not too small. We gone through like 4-5 Home Depots, and we can't find it. It's either out of stock or it's not there. And like I'm trying everything because a couple days before we start shooting, and then Mark, oh, I have it there in my garage. That's why I keep him on the team.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That now I had a question for the prosthetic. Now does the prosthetic arm just roll? Obviously, it rolls up over your arm, Sean, right? Is that how that works?
It was essentially hollow, and I would fit my arm inside. Okay. So they did a mold cast of my actual arm.
Right.
So all those muscular striations, those are real. Those are good.
I had no doubt.
No, that was all added, but and the makeup artists, she came in and just crushed it with her ability to create kind of the what's the term I'm looking for? Because
you're about this one, scar tissue.
Yeah, scar tissue, and we wanted to show like what it would look like to have this robotic thing trying to meld itself into the human skin. Right. And so she, on the fly, she came up with this stuff, and she just kind of was humming away, doing her thing, and we're all like, okay. And then she glued on this thing and put these staples, and it was like brilliant. And so it has a real literal raw effect to it, but at the same time, it gave me that sense of, this is not me, this is separate. And so that really helped. I use that mentally and to just really kind of understand how to like work with this thing that wants to be on its own. So it was a really cool element to the film.
Yeah, it's a really, I was really excited to see the prosthetic, and the way you have to use it so that people can tell that it's not fake, in the film is a tricky thing too, and so I think that's really cool. I love the story about the ladder. There's always something in a film where you have to improvise with the craziest things around you, and you're just like, you gotta go with it. Like that's all about filming, right? You just have to go with it. You're on a time crunch, something breaks. I mean, nothing ever works out perfectly. But you try your best and all that stuff, and it comes out with a great result. So one more story. Let's hear one more story, and then we'll talk a little bit about the charity here that we're going to be representing. Eugene really wants us to focus on getting this charity some really great help, guys, because it does help out the Ukraine. So I will pop that up here in a little bit, but we'll get one more story from the guys here before we head out for the day.
I have a lot, but guys, anybody else want to take spot?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, it was, besides the ladder, the arm.
Mark, Chris.
Yeah. the bottle breakings, those we had to be careful of. That was, we've got, it's like we started with 6 and then it's like, okay, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, there was some pressure.
Get anything?
There was some pressure to crush well.
Crush well to make it look good. Now those are all made out of sugar, right? Those are sugar ones. Yeah, that's awesome.
Sugar glass. Okay, I'll tell a short story. Oksana on her photograph that she submitted for casting was blonde.
Yes, I saw she was a blonde dancer.
And first stage, it was very intense. We have more than 500 female actresses for all of Penelope. So she gone through first stage. And then it was videos. I think second stage was videos. Then it was live casting for like 30, 40 selected people. She's coming on the day of casting, and I'm looking at schedule. Oksana Potter, okay, imagining blonde girl, and I'm seeing her, and she has that brownish hair. And it was a bit confusing, like, who are you? I'm sorry. but actually, I liked her better with that hair color, and I think it works better for the film itself. It fits her more.
Yeah, I agree.
And that was a lot of 2 days of casting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I just had to point out real quick, speaking of auditions, I miss the in-person. Like that was nice to have. This is one of the last roles I've done where it was old school. That was great.
Wow.
Yeah, we spent 2 days of just reading with all these. I had the opportunity to read, and Eugene was directing the different takes, do it differently. And so it was really fun. It was really, to be on the other side of the audition. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, this is great. And you're trying to provide as much as you can, per Eugene's directions, so that this, person who's going to be a lead, right, is showing something, right? So every single read, you just try to be a supporting person, supporting actor for them, so they can hopefully, shine and hopefully do something that, Eugene sees. And Sean and Oksana, they stood out. There was a rapport, and they were really, really brilliant. So.
Yeah, you guys are all absolutely amazing. And I have a question here from somebody, one of the viewers. How did COVID affect you guys with this, filming?
You can't imagine, considering that we started reproductions during COVID, and we rushed to film while there was a window when COVID was lifted in Los Angeles. But at that same moment, everybody rushed to film. We had to compete for locations and crew with bigger productions. And as in this small project, you cannot win them. So there was a lot of things.
Yeah, location. Oh, there was so much. And then if you're doing anything on the side, we did a couple of secret little films. Just didn't say anything to anybody. Just like little shorts or something. Just like, okay, let's just all meet there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's challenging, very challenging.
Yeah, because California basically shut down. The traffic disappeared, which was absolutely shocking, right? There's no cars anywhere in LA, which is not usually a thing. And everybody, the whole COVID thing came down, and now that it's breaking open again, it makes it completely different for everybody. You have the protocols in it and all that stuff, but that's not the main thing. We also had the lovely stuff that happened over in the Ukraine. And Eugene, tell us a little bit about your charity, why this charity that we are focusing on today. What's your heart behind this? And I'm just so glad that you're focusing on this, because I'm from the Ukraine way back in the day too, so it's just this means a lot. And I'm going to pop it up here, but Eugene, go ahead and tell us a little bit about this Post Angels.
Well, it's a bit of side story, not really connected to Still Real, but thank you, Ashley, for giving me this opportunity. Well, I'm originally from Ukraine. I was born there and lived there for my first 25 years of life. And if there is going war right now there. It's 179 days already, non-stop. And a lot of people need help with basic stuff. Just so you imagine, I'm talking constantly to my family, and sometimes there is no sugar or no coffee.
Yeah.
Not talking about basic food or medicine. So since war started, after I get out of shock condition, I was trying to find some way to help back there. And I stumbled about these guys, Post Angeles, in Los Angeles. So what they're doing, they gathering humanitarian help, food, medicine, all that kind of stuff, packaging it and sending it directly to Ukraine where it can be used. Hospital, other humanitarian organizations, and so on. And they desperately need help, especially right now. First of all, not a lot of people heard about them. So how we can help them is spread info about them. Secondly, you can make a donation. They have GoFundMe, one on screen right now. I think they also have PayPal. You can check their website, is postangeles.org. You can donate some stuff to them, bring something that they're gonna send there, but I advise you beforehand contact them and ask what exactly they can ship these days. Or you can volunteer, come one of the days when they really need extra hands and help them just basic warehouse work. Pack it and put boxes inside sea ship containers or on airplane, like that. I'm trying to help them as much as I can for past 3 or 4 months, so I know for sure they're real. They're non-profit organization. Whatever they collecting, they're using it to help our nation right now who's struggling there.
Absolutely.
So please, if you can, help or at least spread info about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Guys, go and check this out. I have the GoFundMe name down at the bottom where you guys can go and check it out on GoFundMe to help support, or you guys can look them up at postangels.org and be able to support those guys there as well for the Ukraine. There's a ton of crazy stuff going on, so appreciate anything that you guys can do as far as that goes. Guys, thanks so much for being here and listening and on this great talk that we have with this fantastic cast. What a great opportunity. What a fun treat. If you guys want to get involved with Steel Will, you can reach out to Eugene. I've got his information down below. Bombard him. See how you can get involved and help out with the film, from financing to all the way to getting involved with the crew. So it looks like a really great opportunity. I'm super excited for you guys. Any last things you'd like to say before we end for the day?
Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. So thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashley. It was very cool. I'm feeling like a superstar. I'm going to end with whatever every film director ends like his work. Cut. Thank you, people. Cut.
Love it. Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you on. And guys, like I said, get involved, reach out, and get these guys autographs too. I mean, before long, these guys are going to be like the next Marvel and stuff, and you won't be able to touch them. So better reach out now. All right, guys. Here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mark actually have some of our autographs already.
All right.
That's another story. I'll tell it briefly. Mark had small problem with his knee. During filming, there is a small custom, like at last day of filming, you usually print a poster and you collect signatures from everybody. We were too pressed out to do it, so we leave it behind, but Mark wanted to do it anyway. So when he gets that problem with his knee, I made poster and I talked to our guys, and it have signatures of Oksana, me, Sean, and Chris.
Yep, and then the two other producers.
Yes, I wrote from their. We have two producers from Ukraine. I wrote from their name a small message. And so far it's unique. There is no other one like that. So Mark holding something special.
Wow.
That's
Well,
right.
I expect some autographs coming my way. So you guys sign some napkins or something and just send it my direction. Guys, such a pleasure. Thank you so much. My love to Oksana too. I wish she was here. She's just such a sweetheart and so cool person. So I'm excited to see where you guys can go with this. And like I said, guys, get involved. This is a great opportunity. You're not gonna regret it. Absolutely. So thank you guys, and we'll see you back here next time on the Malibash Spotlight Show. Take care, everybody.